In this video we're going to look at conjunctions, but specifically we're going to look at how to work with conjunctions when you're putting them at the start of sentence 1. Now the question is, what happens if you put a conjunction at the beginning of sentence 1? Well, let's just quickly recap on what we know about them already. Obviously it joins two sentences. That's what a conjunction does, that's its purpose. Secondly, what you need to remember is that it affects the word order of the sentences that follow the conjunction. Right, now let me use an explanation in just to bring my point across. What I'm going to use to represent sentence 1 is this guy with the red cap. Sentence 2, I'm going to use the guy with a green bean here to represent. And the conjunction is going to be represented by this little beaker with a chemical inside it. Now, I've used this symbol simply because the conjunction is almost like a chemical reaction that it has on the sentence that follows it. Right, so you usually work with conjunctions as follows. Firstly, there's sentence 1, then you get the conjunction, and then you get sentence 2. So when you join sentence 1 and sentence 2, it changes the word order of sentence 2. So if the conjunction is in group 3, for instance, the verb 1 of the sentence will go to the end. So it changes the form of that sentence. Now, if you put it at the beginning of sentence 1, such as the following, you've first got your conjunction, then you've got sentence 1, and then you've got sentence 2. What happens when you join it? Well, firstly, it affects the word order of sentence 1, but because sentence 2 is also after the conjunction, it must affect the word order of sentence 2. So it changes the word order of everything that follows it. Now, there is a rule that we can derive from this. Two rules, in fact, because you can start with two types of conjunctions. You can start with a group 2 conjunction, or you can start with a group 3 conjunction. Now, the group 2 conjunction, as you see it there, first you got the conjunction, then verb 1 of sentence 1, then the rest of sentence 1, and then the green section is what you do to sentence 2. The same with the group 3 conjunction at the beginning. First you got the conjunction, then sentence 1, and then at the end of sentence 1 you got the verb 1 from sentence 1, and then the green section is what you do with sentence 2. Now what you should notice about this is that the red sections of the rule are in fact the normal conjunction rules. The green section is kind of a general universal rule that you apply no matter what group the conjunction is in. But I would like to explain to you how we derive this rule. How do we come up with this rule? So I'm going to use the group 2 rule as an example here. Right, let's ignore the green part of this sentence for now, or of this rule rather, and I want to compare this with a group 2 conjunction rule, the normal group 2 rule. So in other words, when you put the conjunction in between sentence 1 and sentence 2, and remember the rule that we are now looking at is when you put the conjunction at the beginning of sentence 1. So if you compare the two rules, what you see is actually that they are identical. So what about this green section, the green part of the rule? Well, this really is just, as I've said before, this is a part of the rule that remains the same no matter what group the conjunction is in, and you simply apply that rule to sentence 2. And all you basically need to do is remember to move verb 1 to the beginning of sentence 2. Right, so when you're applying the rule, I'm going to use an example, or a group 3 conjunction as an example. Sentence 1 that I'm going to use here is Die man koopt die koerant, and sentence 2 Hy lees die nuus, and the conjunction that I'm going to use is omdat. So in other words, I'm going to put omdat at the beginning of sentence 1. Now, as you see the rule there, first you got the conjunction, then the rest of sentence 1, and then at the end of sentence 1 you've got verb 1 from sentence 1, then a comma, then verb 1 of sentence 2, and then the rest of sentence 2. So if we now join sentence 1 and sentence 2 using omdat, what happens? First you got omdat, which is the conjunction, then you've got die man, die koerant, which is the rest of sentence 1, and then you've got verb 1 of sentence 1, which was koop. Then you add a comma, and then verb 1 of sentence 2, which is lees, and then the rest of sentence 2. So if you kind of compare and match it up with the rule, there's your conjunction, there's the rest of sentence 2, there's verb 1 of sentence 1, there's verb 1 of sentence 2, and there's the rest of sentence 2.